everyone. Thanks for joining the Fairfield Study Abroad Options and Opportunities webinar.
I'm Patricia Pivarnick.
And I'm Nicole Moffa, and we are here to talk to you about study abroad opportunities at Fairfield. What we're going to go over today is what to do, so the planning process for students. We're going to talk about where students are eligible to go and the types of study abroad options we have, as well as when to study abroad, the timelines and deadlines for our programs. At Fairfield, every student has the opportunity with proper planning to study abroad for a semester program. You are suggested that students are starting early for planning. We have a study abroad fair that's every September where all of our programs are represented. And we also have first steps sessions, which are offered every day, Monday through Friday, as long as school is in session, at various times to help students prepare and plan for their semester or summer abroad. To be eligible to apply, students are encouraged to attend a first step session that is a mandatory component of the application process. And students are required to be in good disciplinary standing with the Dean of Students during the time of application, as well as the point of participation for the program. Students do need to have a minimum cumulative GPA of a 2.8 to study abroad. There are a few programs that do require a higher GPA of about a 3.0, if not maybe higher, to be able to be eligible to study abroad. This here is our advising philosophy. So we really want students to think about what their major is, what their minor is. Do they have an interest in a foreign language, or if they're looking to do an internship abroad? And we really want students to be able to really take all of those components and select a program that's going to be the best fit for them academically. If they have accommodations here at Fairfield or accessibility needs, we encourage them to come into our office and talk about what those needs are so that we can make sure that we're finding a program that will best accommodate that student's needs for their term abroad. Alrighty.
So the types of programs that students can attend varies, and it allows for the students to potentially study abroad more than once or find the fit that works best for their personality. We have semester programs, which it's available to students in most majors and in most of our locations. Sometimes students want to ease in to something, a program like starting off with summer. Sometimes they're athletes, or they might have a major that just requires them to be on campus more. So the summer option, which ranges between 3 and 8 weeks, is a really good option, and that can take them all around the world as well. Then we have something called faculty-led, and this is when our faculty, our Fairfield University faculty, commit to taking their course on the road, as we like to say. The students, about 12 to 15, engage with the professor in a location, and so the course is taken to that location to be the living textbook. That's a great one. And then a few of our programs offer a year option. So there's two types of programs. So we'll say, oh, the Fairfield Center program or an approved program. So to clarify, a Fairfield Center program is a program that is administered by Fairfield, our office at Fairfield University. The students receive Fairfield credit and grade. There's a staff there that assists students from the point of arrival through their program end. And they might do programming, not only orientation, which happens at through all our programs, but we might have specific Fairfield programming for our students that are there, like a weekend trip or dinner and so on. And as you can see, our locations of where we have the center programs. And we have a special program, and we have a couple programs like this, but for our center program, a special program in Barcelona for business students, and it's a nominated program. So some of our center programs have unique program identities for majors, specific majors, and they would be nominated only. Then we have the non-Fairfield programs, which are not a second-class citizen by any means, but they're approved by the university for transfer credit, and they are administered by an outside organization that has been vetted and approved by the university, and they can take you to throughout the world, 50-plus programs around the world. So I did speak a little bit about the Center highlights, and again, we have orientation that's facilitated by a Fairfield University staff member, 24-hour support, 7 days a week, some customized programming, and a new add-on over the recent semesters are internships for credit at many of our locations. And we're really finding students in all types of majors are taking advantage of that opportunity. So then we also had the students think about their location based on what their department or their school has selected as preferred programs. So our College of Arts and Sciences, School of Engineering, School of Nursing, Dolan School of Business have all reviewed our centers and our approved programs and have identified programs that they find that they prefer our students or their students in those schools to attend because of the best match for academics. We are trying to make sure that when students study abroad, they connect their academics, the academic purpose to the location, and the schools have helped us do that. So as you can see from this wonderful list of programs, preferred programs, where your child is and what programs your department supports.
So I'm sure we have some finance questions. There are obviously financial considerations as it relates to study abroad. For this semester, Fairfield students will be charged Fairfield University tuition for the relevant semester, as well as the townhouse room charge. If a student is participating on a program where they are provided some of those meals, typically those programs are programs where students live with a host family. Students will be charged a portion of the Fairfield meal plan. It's typically 1/3 of the Fairfield meal plan charge. So that's what students are billed. They are billed as if they were on campus with the same payment plan as in the normal Fairfield billing cycle. There are a few other costs associated with study abroad, so we recommend that students start creating a budget. They're going to want to create a budget for meals that are not provided by the program. They're also going to want to budget for their flight to and from their location, as well as a visa. And a visa is a document that will legally allow a student to study abroad in their designated location for an extended period of time. Those visa charges can vary. Some visas are about $50, and some can range up to $1,500. So it's really important that students are taking those financial considerations into account when selecting a program. For the summer and the faculty-led programs, billing's a little bit different. For the summer, students are charged a program fee. They are charged that flat rate. That's typically due about 4 or 5 months prior to the student's departure for the program. It's typically in March, and it is just a program fee charge, which will include their tuition credits. It will also include their housing and certain in-country transportation as well. And then other costs as well to budget for will be flights, visas, and meals as well. For this semester, Fairfield scholarships and aid, including federal funds, are able to be used for 1 semester. Some majors are eligible to use their aid for a full year abroad. Those majors are international business, international studies, and modern languages majors with the approval of the Associate Vice Provost. There are a few programs, as Patricia mentioned, that are for the year. Few of those programs are the London School of Economics and Blackfriars. The way that those programs are structured is that students have to participate in those programs for the entire academic year. So even though a student might be a finance major or might be a philosophy major, if they've selected to participate on those programs, they are eligible to use their aid for that full program. There are a few exceptions to scholarships and aid. Those exceptions are athletic scholarships, FAE checks, tuition exchange, and work-study money. If students have any questions as it relates to their specific financial aid package and if they're eligible to use their aid, we strongly recommend that they contact their financial aid counselor. Their financial aid counselor can be found in the Kelly Center or can email the resource account for financial aid for assistance. There are many external scholarships available. Our website does have a few scholarships that are available to students through our programs and our providers, but we do recommend that students also look for outside resources as well, as our website is not as comprehensive as all of the scholarships out there.
So what happens is, especially freshmen, will come on campus, and a lot of freshmen have begun to arrive knowing that study abroad is going to be an option for them, which is wonderful. But what to do next is usually, they're kind of up in the air. So we're around a lot in the fall. We are at activities fair. We have, as Nicole said earlier, we have a study abroad fair. So September is really busy with just gathering information. But then what do they do next? So what we require, as mentioned previously, is for them to attend an information session, which we call First Steps. And it basically goes over similar information of what we're sharing with you today in a little more detail for the students on courses and programming. But they must attend this information session before completing their application, because there they have a good knowledge base of the process. After they attend the information session, we suggest that they go back and they research their program options based on, their department suggested preferred programs, based on locations that they've always had a desire to go to. Maybe they wanted a homestay, or maybe they don't want a homestay. So going on our website and really looking at the details of the programs. And then one of the major details they should be looking at are the courses that are being offered at the location, because, again, academically, we're hoping that the students enhance their experience while here. We don't want them to fall back behind academically on their graduation date or on achieving their major or minor goals. So they should go to their academic advisor and talk to them. I'm thinking about Florence, and I want to go there because I'm an art history minor and I could take courses like these that would help me satisfy those goals. And having that conversation, and then if they have any additional questions specifically about living in that location, or how far from campus my housing is, or what type of support will I have some accessibility issues and so on, then they would come and speak to us. And then finish the application. And watching deadlines. As we know, our deadline for next academic year, fall and spring, is actually on Saturday. So they finish the application process, and it gets sent to us for review. Part of the application, just here are some of the highlights. There's essay questions. There's an $80 application fee. They need to reach out to 2 recommenders, one having to be a faculty member, another one could be someone they work with on campus, 2 campus resources. We now ask for backup programs so that if they, let me say, we're overfilled in one location, where would you like to go in it as a backup? And then there's lots of details that they read and they sign that they've read and they understand some of the laws and guidelines and policies. And the course selection worksheet, again, this is them running through the process of academically, what am I planning on taking should I get accepted into this program? They're not locked in, but it's a good step to take, an awareness and a conversation that they could take to their advisor. As you could see, we do have the deadlines for our Fairfield Center programs. Again, these are the ones that are in France, Italy, Ireland, England, Australia. These are their deadlines. As you can see, we opened up October 1st. Typically, this is for the sophomore, rising junior next year, that they're thinking of this semester, spring or fall, abroad, and they're closing on December 1st. Summer, we opened up in October, but they have more time, and quite often we get all the way from freshmen to rising seniors doing summer, because like I said, this is sometimes the only opportunity they have, or this is a way to get back to study abroad, a second chance. But they'll be open until February 1st. We do rolling admissions for summer, although for the semester we don't make the announcement until February 1st. And as you could see, a deposit is due on March 1st for our center programs. And summer does not have a deposit. They have a program fee that'll be required at that time. The deposit is not an additional cost to tuition. It's just an early request for payment of $1,000, and then it will be deducted from the semester tuition.
So following students' approval to study abroad, we will have an approved student meeting with Fairfield students. We'll go over academic information. So as Patricia mentioned earlier, we do ask students to submit a course selection worksheet prior to submitting their application to go through an exercise of what types of courses are available so that they're planning academically in advance. Once they're accepted in the approved student meeting, we'll go ahead and work with them on what's actually offered for that semester in that program and work on course registration and processing. We'll also go over academic policies and program-related specific information. We will go over if they have to fill out a program application. So if they're approved by our office, they may also require a second application for their specific program. We'll talk about when to arrive, how to book your flight, how to apply for that visa I mentioned earlier, if a student doesn't have a passport, how to apply for one as well, and a few other program-specific information. A few months prior to departure, at the end of the semester prior, we will go through health, safety, and security and conduct. For health and safety, we have a presentation from the Director of Public Safety here at Fairfield and a presentation from the insurance company that most students are registered for as part of their emergency support. We also have a presentation from the Dean of Students Office at Fairfield talking about code of conduct. And we also have risk management and managing expectations presentation from the Associate Vice Provost of Global Strategies at Fairfield.
So I'm a parent. I know you're all parents on this webinar as well. So you're thinking, what are the next steps? So a really wonderful resource is on our website is the Parent Tips section. That really goes over a great overview of all the areas of what you should be thinking about when you're working with your student on studying abroad. So it goes over some policies, it goes over everything from how your child packs to what is a visa and how do I get that passport information, and then details on programs. This would be a great place for a parent to start. I would also suggest sitting down with your student over winter break and having that conversation. And if they are already opened an application for the summer or have begun looking into our program page, for you to join them and seeing the internal website that the students get to see. That is a really good way to answer some of the questions that you might have without calling, the office.
Our social media is also quite lively, so we would recommend that you follow us on our social media pages as well. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we also have a Tumblr page where students that are currently abroad and alum have posted stories about their experience, whether they're either currently there or reflecting on their experience. Maybe they did an internship abroad and how that has impacted their career, or maybe they're just currently talking about how great their housing was in Galway. So we definitely recommend that you follow us on our social media pages. We'll also send updates on new programs. We will have students from those countries sharing live stories as well. So that's a really great way to stay connected with our office with you guys being home. Office of Study Abroad, if you're looking to contact us, our office is up in Dolan House, which is a little bit further north of the townhouses if you're ever on campus. Our email is studyabroad@fairfield.edu. That is the resource account. We recommend that you start there if you have any questions. And if our front office staff is not able to answer them, they will make sure that it is routed to the appropriate staff member in our office. Our phone number and our website are also provided there for your records as well. And that is it for us, but do we have any questions?
Hi, so we do have a couple general questions. I'd like to remind everyone that if you do have a question that you would like asked and answered live here, to type it in at the bottom of the page or email engagement@fairfield.edu. But we'll start with a couple questions that we do have. So when do Fairfield students typically study abroad?
Oh, I'll take that. Typically a semester or a year abroad is for the junior. Although students who are interested earlier on, as we said, have summer faculty-led options, as well as there's a few special programs that are drumming up for sophomores that students are getting nominated for, or that the schools and major departments are aware of. So if a sophomore is very interested, certain majors and certain type of student could do it sophomore year, but typically it's for the junior.
Correct. The Dolan School of Business prefers that all business school students study abroad if it's for a semester during their junior year. The business core curriculum is really something that the business school wants students to explore prior to studying abroad, and that's typically done in the first year and sophomore year. For nursing school students, their semester opportunities are the spring semester of their junior year. But as Patricia had mentioned, a lot of the College of Arts and Sciences and some of the engineering majors as well are eligible to study abroad as early as sophomore year. So encouraging your child to connect with their academic advisor early would be the best for academic planning.
And how many students would you say actually take advantage of a study abroad opportunity at Fairfield?
At Fairfield, the percentage is about 33%, if I'm not mistaken, of undergraduate students that study abroad, which is something we're really proud of. The national average is actually about 10%, so we're pretty proud of our 33%, and hopefully growing.
Exactly. A couple more questions for you. So, do you have any options for students who are interested in studying away domestically, so within the States?
We do. Right now, we have a program that's a good fit for more of the environmental studies or bio majors in Hawaii first semester. And then we have a program, approved provider of Washington Internship Institute. And this is really great for politics, international studies. We have humanitarian action minor here. Students in those areas can work through the WII program and do internships in the DC area. So it's not just government policy. It could be all the nonprofits and associations down in DC. And that is a program that is offered semester or summer. And a lot of our students do that in conjunction with.
Yep.
Sure. So we did have a question come in about nursing students who are studying abroad.
Sure.
This parent heard that there are really only Australia and Ireland as options for those students. Could you clarify if there's other places that they could go abroad?
Certainly. So for this semester, nursing school students are eligible to study abroad for the semester in either Galway or Australia. So that is correct. At this time, those are the only two semester options. However, nursing school students are absolutely eligible and welcome to participate in summer programs as well. And the summer programs for nursing school students will most likely allow them to explore the Fairfield core curriculum. At this time, they would not be able to take nursing courses, unless you can correct me, for those summer terms at this time.
No, but the semester programs have been designed, the curriculum has been designed to fit right into their semester, their spring semester junior year, where their coursework stays on track. So they're not taking core when they're going for the semester. They're involved in some core and a lot of their nursing courses, and sometimes even a practicum part of it. So it really is a popular, highly competitive option for nursing students. So we definitely get nursing students coming in at Accepted Students Day saying, I'm going to Australia. So yes, it's a hot one.
Sure. So we did have a question about how students get settled when they go abroad, and if parents are expected to go out and help them move things over, or if they need to put things in storage, and if they're doing a year-long program, if they need to move out of their living assignment in between and then move back in. So questions about kind of getting over there and getting settled.
Mm-hmm. So for all of our center programs and the provider programs, there are main points of contact for students. And to really make sure that the students are being supported fully and that they're being fully acclimated into the program, students are the ones who will be really supporting themselves through that process. We do have staff that are 100% there for them, as Patricia said, 24 hours, 7 days a week supporting them through their transitional period. We, during orientation, will go over homesickness. We'll talk about, main points of contact if you need to seek counseling, things of that nature. But parents are not advised to arrive in country with students to move them in. It's actually quite discouraged because we really want to make sure that the students are being cohesively brought together as a cohort for their semester or summer opportunity. We do highly encourage that if there's a spring break or if there's a holiday weekend, that's the time that parents and their families come to visit. But we really want students to make sure that they are being acclimated with their cohort during those first few weeks upon arrival. But for, what was the second half of the question about storage? Could you repeat that for
so
me?
So if they do a year-long program at the same institution, if they're expected to leave for break, like students are expected to leave for break at Fairfield?
Great question. In that case, the students will actually have housing for the entire duration of their program. Right now, the 3 technically year-long programs that we have, students will have housing throughout the entirety of their program. So they're not required to come home halfway through, though they are welcome to if they'd wish, but they will have housing for their entirety. So there's no worries about, moving back and, unpacking their luggage or putting it in storage. They will have access to their housing. Thank you.
So I know that you had a timeline and deadlines and things like that, but how far in advance should students realistically start looking at options before they want to study abroad?
Early. we do recommend that students are thinking about it as first-year students. As first-year students, specifically first semester, most of those students are working toward their core curriculum courses. Most of those intro-level courses, so for example, History 10, Philosophy 101, Religion 101, so on and so forth, most of those courses are actually required to be taken here at Fairfield. So it's really hard for a first-year student to take the wrong courses in preparation for their semester. So we do recommend that if they're, a double major with a minor and they're in the honors program, that they're really, really thinking ahead of time to make sure that they are optimizing the types of courses that they're able to take abroad. We really want study abroad to be able to complement and supplement a student's curriculum while they're there, so planning early does help. And as I'm sure you saw from our timeline, the applications for students to study abroad their junior year for a semester are actually due the fall semester of their sophomore year. So trying to plan ahead second semester as a first year will really help support them and launch them for success as sophomores.
Yeah, and it's really great academically when students are thinking this far in advance for them to enhance their major or their minor with intent earlier on. So after you take that required core art history course and you have the bug and then you get to go do something in Florence, a lot of students will come back and say, I'm going to go to Provence because I can finish up these 2 more courses in studio art, and then so it's really, like we said, complementing and supplementing the major here with what's being offered at our partners abroad.
So as a follow-up to that, one of the parents who's watching this right now asks, so what should a freshman do right now if they're interested in studying abroad?
They should run to our office. No. Just do your research right now. We're a little bit busy with the sophomores applying for their junior year. But if they know that maybe summer is something that they want to dip in, or there's some faculty-led that are being run that are going to be offered in the summer sessions as well. They're a little shorter. Then they can be exploring that over the next month. When we return from break, it's late. It's the 20s of January. So if they do want to do summer as a freshman, then this is the time now to be doing the research, opening the applications, and getting that ready to be for the deadline for February 1st. But if they're only thinking of a semester, they have time, and we'll be doing additional programming in the spring. We've been to all the most of the FYE classes. We've been to many of the residential halls. We are offering programs for commuters. So we really have put ourselves out there this fall for awareness, but we'll continue that in the spring, and our shift of focus will go from the sophomores to the second semester freshmen. So when they return in the fall next year, they're in the know, and all they have to do is apply.
We would recommend, we have an OrgSync page. If you're not familiar with OrgSync, I would recommend when your child comes home to tell them to show you the OrgSync app. All of our events and where we'll be and all of our first step sessions will actually be on our OrgSync page. So if your student is just curious, unfortunately study abroad didn't make it to, my FYE course, is there any chance I can still attend a first steps? The answer is absolutely yes. All of the events can be found on that page, so we'd highly encourage that be one of the, if you will, social platforms that you follow or have your child follow.
And if you talk to your child after this, we're at Fairfield Future right now until 2 o'clock. So we have a table there with some other staff members who can certainly talk to them face-to-face.
In the Oak Room, I think, right?
Yeah, in the Oak Room.
Awesome, thank you. So we're talking about planning ahead and figuring out finances. How much spending money do students typically take with them, or how much is recommended?
That is a great question. On all of our program brochure pages for the centers, we actually provide students with a sample budget. So that will be a really great resource. What you won't see on that sample budget are personal expenses as it relates to personal travel. And we do that specifically because students, we really want them to take charge of their budget and really understand if I'm studying abroad in London, realistically, how much would it cost if I wanted to travel to Germany? Every student travels differently, every student's budget's different, so we really want students to be able to manage their own expectations and really prioritize where they're planning to travel and how much that's going to cost. As it relates to the dollar figure to carry on their person when they are traveling, that's really up to you in your comfort zone. Some students say, you know, I'm comfortable carrying 50 euros and I'm okay with that, and others say, you know, 200 euros for me is something I'm comfortable carrying. We would not recommend that you're carrying much more than that on your person, but you know, going to the bank and talking to them about how to order those ahead of time is definitely something we would recommend.
And that is something that is covered in that first step info session. So we talked to them early on about why you need a cell phone, why you should get a credit card now, what kind of information you should be sharing with your banks when you're studying abroad. And that happens in first steps briefly, and then after acceptance at our
Accepted
students meeting, yes, that's what it's called. We talk specifics about that too. So having the advanced time for students knowing that they're going to be studying abroad, some almost a year in advance, others about 6 months. We definitely have plenty of time to work with them and counsel them, and them to go back home and prepare the materials they need for things like visas and travel and such.
The parent tips page also has some information about banking and financing abroad as well that we would recommend that you explore.
Definitely.
Awesome. So you had alluded to the housing options for students a little bit. I think it's program dependent, but could you talk about whether or not most students will be in homestays, or if they're going to live on campus, or if they have to find an apartment on their own?
Sure. So what's really great about Fairfield is that all of our programs have been fully vetted. So we recommend that students look at that program brochure page. Those can be found on our website. So if you click on Fairfield Students, you'll be able to explore all of the programs. That program brochure page will share with you if the students have to live in a homestay or if they have the opportunity to live in an apartment. I would say that most of the programs that Fairfield offers are apartment-style housing, so students should be asking for a cookbook for the holidays because they will be expected to cook their own meals. We have a few programs that provide students with homestay opportunities, and we have, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 programs where students are actually living in a residential hall on campus.
Yep, and that's why we tell them to do their research, and if they know that there's a certain type of person, then to limit their search, because I need to stay in a homestay, I like that environment, or because I don't want to stay in a homestay, knowing that part of them. By this point, freshman year, they should be familiar with their comfortableness, if that's such a word, in different, in different environments and home away situations.
Great. Well, I think that was the last question that we had from our viewers. So thank you everyone for watching, and this video will be posted on the website. It's the same exact link, so if you want to go back and view it again, feel free to do so. And if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to the Office of Study Abroad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Bye.